or Delict? Is there any other people that we need to be wary of?
No, we're in good shape really. Matthias has done a little bit of work, so we're hopeful. We're not sure, but we're hopeful. So obviously Matt's still a little bit further. He's not involved in the game, but other than that, they're in good shape.
Obviously, yesterday the club announced Mainoo signed his new deal till 2031. How big a boost is that to the club? And I saw Jason Wilcox describe him as one of the most naturally gifted young footballers in the world. What's your take on him?
Yeah, I've been hugely impressed with Cobby since I've been here. I think I've known him quite some time in different capacities, but certainly been aware of him for a long time. And he epitomises this football club, you know. Young players coming through the academy, living, breathing the club, and coming through with real talent, you know, and showing what he's doing. I think the last couple of games, particularly, I think he's been fantastic. And the natural thing and the evolution is to obviously sign a new contract. So everyone's over the moon with that, including me, because I think he deserves it.
Michael, when we spoke to you a couple of weeks ago about Leeds, obviously we spoke about the rivalry, and you've not played that often against them. Clearly you played quite often against Liverpool. Would you still regard it as the biggest game for Manchester United, no matter where the clubs are in the league?
Certainly one of my favourite games, yeah, without doubt. I think it's a standout game, you know. I think there's obviously big games and big rivalries that we have with other teams, but certainly this one is right up there. And the history, the ups and downs that past has produced in these type of games, and the excitement and entertainment, I think it's and the emotion, which is a huge part of it. It makes it a really special game.
If you think about the game, what thing do you think of first?
I think it's just that edge and that competition, really, and irrespective of league positions over the years, of who's been on top at certain times or whatever, it's never really changed the feeling of the game and the emotion and the supporters. And I think it's and really appreciating what it means to the supporters. I think we have to do that. It's just a special game, you know, to be part of, and obviously to come out on top is one of the best feelings you'll get.
Afternoon, Michael. To go back to Cobby, he hadn't started a Premier League game until your return. I just wondered, putting football aside though, what was it like to first talk to him when you came back? Because I imagine he probably wasn't full of confidence, having not played a lot of football, and maybe having that first dip of the early part of his career. So what was that like with Cobby the person rather than Cobby as a footballer?
Like all the players, I think, trying to get that connection and understanding and building relationships. Certainly understanding what it had looked like for Cobby over the last 2-3 years, and the ups and the downs and the big highs and some challenging times. And letting him thrive, you know, just giving him that platform to go and be himself. And I think he's evolved. He's improving all the time. I think you can see that. The more responsibility, the more confidence, the more belief. Keeps adding to his game, and he's certainly done that. But yeah, just giving him that platform and that opportunity to go and be the best version. And he's, as I just said, he's done fantastic with it. There's more to come. There's loads more to come. I keep saying that for some time because he's such a young man, you know. But he's in a great spot at the moment.
Michael, you said there's loads more to come. By the end of this contract, it'll be sort of mid-20s. What do you think he could achieve here and beyond in that time?
Well, hopefully he's here for a long time, and he's part of successful teams that win things, win trophies. That has to be the aim. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be straightforward, but that's got to be the challenge, and that's got to be the aim of Cobby is to be the best version of himself and keep pushing, keep improving. But certainly having a platform of a team and the football club that's in a good place to keep pushing forward as well. And we want to be competing for the biggest of trophies, and we've done it in the past, and we need to do it again.
Time.
Hi, Michael. You've had a very settled team since you've come back, and obviously the schedule has helped with that. But do you think the squad is deep enough and big enough to compete on maybe 4 fronts next year and play 60 games rather than 40?
Well, it's certainly a different different challenge to what we've had over the last 3 or 4 months. It's a natural one. I think it's where we want to be. So it's a real positive if that is the case. If we get in the position that we want to finish in the league to be able to do that. And obviously evolving all the time. You know, I think always trying to improve, always trying to be stronger. Whether that's quality, whether that's depth, whether that's the makeup of the squad, the balance of the squad, the balance of the team. Constantly pushing to move forward, really.
That is the latest. As we know from Mo, he's always working incredibly hard during the season when he's fit, but definitely also when he's injured, to be back as soon as possible. And that's what he's trying now as well. And usually he's earlier fit than other players after a minor injury, because he has a minor injury. So we expect him indeed to be back in the final part of the season, but not tomorrow, for Sunday.
In some ways, though, is there some relief that he'll be able to get that kind of big send-off, be available at least?
Yeah, no, not in some ways. In all ways, in all ways, yeah. It's a big relief that that his injury is minor, so that he's able to play for us, that he's able to play at the World Cup, and if there's any time a player that deserves to get a big send-off, it's definitely Mo.
Obviously, Freddie did great on his Premier League debut last week, but it would be a bonus, I'd imagine, to have Alisson back for this weekend as well. So, how is Ali? How far away is he at the moment?
No, for us it's a bonus every player that comes back, because now if you add Mo to the injury list, it's getting longer and longer, but that's been throughout the whole season. So Ali hasn't trained with us yet, very close to train with us, so I have to hear today from the medical staff if he's able to train today or either tomorrow or otherwise start of next week. So he's very close, but we are of course also, we don't want to take any risk, because that's never what you do with a player, and that's also not what we do now.
If he hasn't trained yet, though, it would be a big ask, I'd imagine, to come straight back in, even a keeper of Ali's quality. Yeah, I think there's a difference between a goalkeeper and a player. If a player hasn't trained for a few weeks, then players need to run much more than goalkeepers do. So I don't think the issue with a player is when he's out for 4 or 5 weeks that he forgot to know how to play football. It's usually that the fitness levels are not at the levels to play at this intensity that the Premier League is asking. So there's a difference between a goalkeeper and the outfield player. Obviously, Liverpool against Manchester United is always a big game, but this is a game as well that could have a big impact on the final league positions. So what importance are you putting on not just this game, but also trying to overhaul Manchester United and finish top 3?
No, I think it's always like that. Every game you play has influence on your league position. So that's not only when you play Man United, it's in every week and every game. But we are aware of the fact that it's a very big game. Not only because we play Man United, but definitely also to qualify for Champions League and to get the highest possible position in the league table, which of course is something we want. We wanted to of course to win the league. That's not possible, and then you have to try to end up as high as possible, and that's what we are trying week in, week out, and that's what we're going to try Sunday again as well.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Hi again. Just in terms of steps forward, then there's a potential chance that you could confirm your top 5 finish, the win this weekend. Do you see that as a valuable step forward in terms of where this season has been to where it essentially looks like now?
Well, I wouldn't say a step forward, but it's the right step to make. We know how important it is to qualify for Champions League, for any club, but definitely for our club. It's an important step. If it's a step forward, it's definitely not a step backwards, but it's an important step to make.
And in terms of the difference between your
Manchester United versus Liverpool, I don't think it's dramatic to say this is a fixture that brings the football world to a standstill. All over the planet, people will be tuning in for this one.
Well, you look at the amount of domestic honours and European honours that they've won between them, probably the most combined out of any club in the Premier League, and they are 2 of the biggest supported clubs in the world. You know, you can put them in the brackets with the European giants, and this is a fixture that attracts interest from all over the world because they've got such a huge fan base, these 2 clubs. They're the meeting of 2 giants. I mean, obviously they've got their local rivals, but this is probably one of, if not the second fixture that both sets of supporters look out for.
Yeah, definitely will, but this time as well there is the added element of Champions League football? Is this a straight shootout for Champions League football?
I don't think it's a straight shootout because I think they're both in brilliant position and I think they'll both get it. But for me, this is the first time in a long time. Yes, earlier in the season was tight. United obviously got the win, but for so long, I would say this rivalry's not felt like it's quite had the same edge that I enjoyed, in my younger years when I was coming up, starting to find my love for football. I just knew what this fixture meant, and some of those clips we just watched, to me, that gives me goosebumps and big feels for the weekend, because I think this is one of the first times, again, we're getting this fixture when both clubs feel like they're in a good moment and they're at the top end of the table, and it is going to have that edge. And I think now there's players in both dressing rooms as well that really can lean into that feeling that both clubs have and go, let's make this one of these big occasions again. So I'm thoroughly looking forward to it. And we see there in the table, both those teams that are going to finish it within the top 5. I'm very sure of that. And they'll both just want to finish above each other. And I think that might be a big part of the motivation for the weekend.
Such a good point you make, because for so many years, the rivalry has been intense, but one has been above the other, clearly. They've not been challenging on a similar level. They're obviously both looking for Champions League places, but Liverpool dominated recently. We know the dominance that Manchester United had years ago, but actually now they're so close rivals, but so closely matched in the table as well, fighting for the same prize.
Yeah, just 3 points separating those two sides ahead of their meeting at Old Trafford on Sunday. When you look at Manchester United's position, the fact that they are in third place right now, is this one of the greatest turnarounds in this Premier League season?
Michael Carrick's got to take so much credit for what he's done. I mean, since he's taken over, there's no Premier League team won more points at home. Won more points. They've won 36 points at home under his stewardship. They've been absolutely excellent under Michael Carrick. And I think when you look at what they've done, the formation change immediately, I think that was a glaring obvious. And you can see from that graphic there, since he's taken over, they would be top of the Premier League, above Manchester City, above Arsenal. And just the difference in the attitude and application of the players. I think there's a lot to be said for the formation and the way that they were coached under Ruben Amorim. And I think under Michael Carrick, the man management. But also we talk about Michael Carrick, but I think a very shrewd move, I don't know what you think, Rachel, was putting Steve Holland in there.
Yeah.
I think, when you look at the coach that he has been under Gareth Southgate and the success that England have had, the coaching staff that Manchester United have amassed in and around Michael Carrick, he's been the figurehead of it, but I think it's been a very clever move.
I would agree, and I think a big part of that also, it will be the language that's used and the stability and calmness of just understanding big pressure moments, big pressure club, not just about being in games that carry big moments, but just understanding the day-to-day and helping the players be calm, helping the players have clear roles, a bit of familiarity and structure. And yeah, to the formation point, it was obvious for a long time that there was too many people that were, square pegs and round holes, and it wasn't working. And it's really made, I think, a lot of the players flourish. The likes of Mainoo that we've just touched on there, he's come in. He can do that job. We know he can do the job. It's how he plays the game and it fits for him. Fernandes has benefited, but we just see Mendes has been in the recent weeks. Brilliant little through ball. It's the simple things, but that's what we're talking about. Do the really simple things really effectively well. He likes to get involved. He'll break play up, and then he's immediately thinking, just put a good quality ball in, make the other team defend. And it's asking all these little questions and doing all the little basics to the best of your ability that break teams down and wear teams down and let you have the advantage over the opponent. I mean, that's a fantastic finish, but great work again in the middle of the pitch. And this is again a move they've clearly worked on, but with a little bit of quality. It's not asking a lot, but it's about doing it effectively. Do your job, know your job really well. And it's good to see him come into a bit of form, because it wasn't nice to see a young player that clearly looked quite unhappy in the last environment. And it's really important for young players to get the opportunity to keep developing. And yeah, they got to take ownership of that as well. But it's good to see someone that had so much promise come back from what earlier on in the season was a really tough time for him, clearly.
And you can see it there, no starts under Ruben Amorim. He started 12 out of 12 appearances under. He's the example of everything you guys have been saying about playing, the right players in the right positions. And now we're seeing a player who had started 0 games under the former manager being given a contract renewal, committing his future to the club.
But again, you've got to question the former manager as to why such a young player who wasn't just an integral part of Manchester United, but he was an integral part of the England national team as well. When you look at him, the quality that he's got to not get a look in under the previous manager, to now become an integral part of what Michael Carrick wants to do and what he's doing at Manchester United. And a lot of the Manchester United fans were scratching their head. Why isn't he playing? Why isn't he on the bench? Why isn't he coming on to games? And then for Michael Carrick to come in, and all of a sudden he's had the impact that a lot of people knew that he would have, and then he's rewarded with a new contract. So then I asked the question, you talk about the Michael Carrick's future at the club. Who's had the authority to give him that new contract? If it was a sporting director, if it's the board who have sanctioned that, why weren't they asking the previous manager, why isn't this player playing? But now they've put faith in Michael Carrick, they've allowed him to play him, and they've also backed their manager by giving a player that he clearly likes a new contract. So that maybe makes you think they're looking very fondly upon the manager they've got at the moment.
Yeah, is that any indication, if they are giving the manager say and who stays long term, that he might be there and be the head of Manchester United long term? What do you think about his future?
I think he deserves the opportunity because I think he's done a great job. And I think one of the biggest things as well is that you can clearly see he's handled a lot of the other elements, the outside elements really well. The players clearly are enjoying the environment just by how they look like they're playing, the smiles on their faces, the cohesion amongst them. It would seem strange to me that you would risk bringing someone in fresh purely based on the fact that you've decided when you appointed him it was only an interim thing and the plan was for somebody to come in permanently in the summer.
When we heard Arne Slot talking, he was mentioning some of the players that they've had unavailable through injury. A large example of that, big, huge one, would be Alexander Isak. And we saw him score last time out. That must have been such an important goal for him, given how his Liverpool career has started.
It's been a difficult start for him. And he comes with a huge price tag, which in itself brings expectation. And I think with the signing of Ekitike as well, the manager tried to play them both at the start of the season. That clearly didn't work. And the way that the manager plays, there's probably only room for one of them in the team. And Alexander Isak was very unfortunate with the injury that he picked up. Missed a huge chunk of the season, which benefited Ekitike. He's got a lot of quality, Isak. We saw that against Liverpool. For Newcastle, the times that he played against Liverpool. And he scores goals that other players can't score. He runs in behind, he's quick, he's very clever, and he gets his shot away out of areas where you wouldn't necessarily expect him to get his shot away. But like we say, he picked up this terrible injury against Tottenham, scoring a goal. He's very brave in the situation. And that's set him back. But you've got to give him a lot of credit because that was a serious injury and he's come back very quickly from it. And actually, if he does start this game, it'll be his 100th Premier League appearance. So it could be a landmark appearance for him. And, you know, he'll now get his opportunity between now and the end of the season.
And a player of his quality could be a huge difference maker in the run-in in the last couple of games.
It very well could be, and there's no doubt he's a fantastic player. You know, we have seen that. I think how the whole thing was handled and how his signing came about, dragged on, it became a whole public affair and everyone had an opinion on it. It took far too long to happen. The price tag was a factor. He's had injuries. I think during that time, Ekitike actually looked really promising. He had a positive start to the season, but then there was the awkwardness of we've just paid all this money, and the whole saga of it, to be honest, wasn't great. And it's a lesson for Liverpool in terms of making sure in the future let's not put ourselves in that position, players in that position, because I don't think anybody won from the whole ordeal. That said, he's now got a run of games. He's got his goal. And he's going to be a top player for Liverpool. Liverpool are a fantastic football club. They've got great attacking players. They're going to give him the service. He's got many attributes. He can go in behind. He can stretch the game. He can score different goals. And hopefully as a positive end to the season, because I think that would set him up for Liverpool next year to really have his big season. And, I think the goals are endless. It's up to him, the number he wants to target and go after.
A lot of questions about Liverpool next season. What happens to them? Does a result at Old Trafford change the conversation around Arne Slot for you? That is the main question for me.
I think, listen, a club of Liverpool's stature defending the title like they have this season with the manager under scrutiny, I think a Champions League place is an absolute must for them. And then Liverpool, we've seen them stand by the managers. They had a fantastic year last season. They backed him. They spent a lot of money in the summer on players. Regardless of how much you spend on a player or the quality of a player, it's got to take new players a while for a manager to put them together. And I think we've seen a little bit of that with Liverpool at times. I think they've changed their style. I think they've been slow. They've been unproductive at times, where we used to see them playing fast-flowing forward football. That's been a criticism of them. But Champions League for a club of Liverpool's stature is an absolute minimum.
Oh, wow, that's a great question.
First of all, do you think they are?
Yeah, yes, I do think they are.
Oh, here we go.
They got Michael Carrick, who's done a brilliant job.
Yeah.
Got Bruno, who's unbelievable, probably the best player in the Premier League this season. and the team will get stronger next season. They'll bring more strength in the team, bring more quality players in it, and that will put Manchester United in a better position to win the Premier League.
Okay. Go on then, Kev.
I just think Liverpool are still ahead of Man United by some distance at this moment in time. I think we've seen it this year, even though they haven't been at the best. I think that, you know, for me, they won it last year, you know, and for me, they'll be there or thereabouts again next year. I think it's been a sort of a transitional period for Arne Slot. You know, there's been a lot of calls for his head, but I think he's going to get backed again in the summer, especially with Mo Salah going out. I think he realises where he's got to strengthen. Yeah. And if they're able to do that, that'll put them in. They'll put them in a real good position to be competing next year in the Premier League, which I don't believe Man United are possibly dare to do it again next year.
I just want to pull up this graphic just really quick before we go tonight, because I think it's showing the swing that they've had in terms of points. You can see it here, right? So Man United have the biggest points difference to last season. This is after 34 Premier League games of the ever-present teams. Liverpool they've got the highest downward curve, -24 for Liverpool there. Does that, though, for your sake, Quinton, do you not feel like...
They were so poor last year.
Who? Man United. It was so poor. Exactly.
So poor last year.
Is this where Man United should have always been for you, or do you think this has been a really fantastic trajectory this year?
No, that's where it also be. That's what I would like for them always to be. But the standard. Of course, there's been different managers. There's changes been made, but Michael Carrick's come in. He's just kept it very simple. He's got good players in his hand. Kept a simple system. We were talking so many times about systems last season, and he's played the Kobe. Brought Kobe back into the team. Was a very important figure in the team, but just simplicity. Michael has brought in simplicity, and when you put someone who's his experience, good players, strengthen the team next season, of course it could always be Liverpool's going to be there.
That's the reason to swing, is because of Michael Carrick, nothing else. You know, because it was so poor before it. I mean, since Michael's gone in, they've probably won. I think they've got the most points in the league out of all the Premier League teams, and that's because, as Quentin just said there, he's just put round pegs and round holes instead of square holes, and trying to match here and there. He's put them in the position where they feel comfortable in. He's created an environment which he's been used to by being at Man United, by being a winner, by winning Champions League, and they can't sit there and look at him and go, well, what do you know? Because he knows.
Do you think they've taken advantage of the fact that they've had so few games to play? Being out of those competitions.
That's helped them no end. Of course, having a Saturday to Saturday is incredible for a coach and a manager. It's so difficult. I mean, when you're on a run and you're on a roll and you get into the role and you're winning, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday just feels like anything. When Michael's been able to work with them on the training pitch, with Steve Holland, who's an excellent coach as well, you know, and the lads he's brought in to assist them with that, you can see that they're all buying into it. The players have bought into it. He's created that environment, and as Quentin says, that's the reason why it's been so. It's going to be interesting if Michael gets it next year and he is in the Champions League, how he's going to manage it next year as well.
That's my point. Is do we see, obviously Michael Carrick has moved Man United in a position where they're now going to be playing in the Champions League next season. It's not a question of should Michael get the job, but is Michael Carrick, is he a Champions League manager?
We'll only know it by him being next season. He's got not the experience. He's done well. I think he deserves credit for it and the job for it. But he's level-headed. He understands the culture of the Manchester United. I think he should be given the opportunity. But coming next season to the Champions League, I know there's a lot of games, but this is what United been used to all over the years.
If he was German, he'd be given the job now.
You think?
Yeah. And I don't mean that not German, because in Germany they give their young British managers
they want to see
opportunities.
It come through.
They want to put them in their high pressurised situations. Michael would have been given the opportunity now to go and give himself a chance against the top end coaches and be ready for next year, because he's earned the right to do that. So why not give him the job? And we're all saying it. Look, is it as easy to do that? I don't know from the Man United hierarchy, but from me looking in and thinking I know a bit about football, I can't see why you would get rid of Michael and his staff, because he recruited as well in his staff. He was, you know, there was a lot of talk about that, but you know, Steve Holland, who's been to World Cups, semi-finals, all that type of stuff, he's got him in, who's got lots of experience, been at Chelsea since young and done really well. And he's been in them high pressure situations, so why not?
Very quickly, I want to make sure that we get to this poll result. I mean, let's take a look. I mean, you've heard what the guys have to say. I mean, it's split here. Is it as split as what you've been voting for? That's tight. It's a lot tighter than I thought. So there you go. I mean, Quinton, you've won out this time, but Man United fans, they've been voting.
What way did you think it'd go?
I'll be honest, I would have said Liverpool just based on the squad.
Yeah.
You know, I think if they have fit players back, but that's me. I'm a fan at the end of the day, guys. Don't ask me. I'm just hosting the show.
I thought you were Arsenal fan.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. Still, I think Liverpool are there. Well, look, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. That is all we have got time for. I mean, Kev, Quinton, I mean, it's been absolutely brilliant. We've had everyone on tonight. We also, Coach Hope was brilliant earlier. She was fantastic. What a show. Stay exactly where you are, though, because Sports Centre is on the way.
Pleasure to play against you. Enjoy your time now. You're one of the best with me. So I hope to see you soon, brother.
Mainoo. Wow. Time flies, isn't it? Because you leave with a smile on your face. You leave loved by so many people. The best thing we could do is to work that hard to put everything in it, that when we meet in the future, in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and look back, we share the best memories of our life.
His mentality, as time went on, his confidence grew. Then what that does is it creates like a culture with everyone, so everyone's thinking, well, I need to do this and I need, and everyone starts to step up.
I think this is the proudest thing, not winning stuff. Of course, winning stuff is something make you proud, but just like change the culture for everything around you. I spoke to the member of staff, I spoke also to guys up there. I told them, when I leave, you need an example here. I just want to have that standard in the club because it's very, very important for the team to keep winning things.
Oh, it was silent in here watching that, was it? What an incredible player. I mean, you know, everything from the story arc that he had going to Chelsea, coming back to Liverpool, becoming, you know, the Egyptian king as he is now. I mean, what have been your thoughts on his tenure and where does he rank for you in players in the Prem?
Goodness, he's up there with the greats. I mean, you don't come in to Liverpool and score so many goals and win major trophies, win the Premier League, score so many goals. I think it was just a couple of goals, not a couple of goals behind Ian Russ, but almost. If he stayed for a couple more years, he would have broken the record. But absolute beast.
Yeah.
Nightmare to play against. I'm very fortunate I didn't play against him. But from watching him over the years, every time he just got the ball, you know, as soon as he gets 1v1 or even with a goalkeeper, it's a goal.
Yeah.
The guy was just a machine, like Haaland is now, and for doing it for so many years, absolutely brilliant.
What about for yourself, Kev?
Yeah, I think, you know, obviously, you know, the affection what you have as a Liverpool supporter for him and what he's done for the club. I think you know, the biggest thing what you do when your colleagues and people who've been around you talk about you and the way they all spoke so glowingly about how he conducted himself. It's what he wanted and produced to make sure that he brought everybody with him as well. So no doubt he looks like a quiet lad, very humble, as I think Deck said there. And then when you hear Jordan talking about him and him saying the standards, well, what he was setting in that dressing room, in and around the training ground, in and around, and him now talking about it, saying, you know, I want this to carry on at Liverpool for a long time, because he's got that love for Liverpool, as all the Liverpool fans in the city have got for him, you know.
Yeah, it's a really strange one with Mo, because he still feels like he's still a Champions League player. Do you know what I mean? He's still got that huge amount of ability. With that being said, where do you kind of see his next move? Do you see him going to a Saudi or an MLS? Because I feel like his quality might be too big for that.
Kev will tell me, we still think we can play.
Yeah.
So that happens to every player.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Mo is brilliant. He will think that for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
I still think I can move now.
Yeah.
Where can he go? United? We need a striker.
Do you know what I mean?
I don't know.
Do you see him still in the Champions League, let's say?
I hope so, because someone of his level should play in the Champions League. Whether that's in Spain or in France or wherever he chooses, in Germany, wherever he goes. But someone of his level, he's still got loads of goals in him.
Yeah.
I hope he stays in Europe.
Yeah. Would you agree, Kev?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing probably when you look at it is that it's been the intensity of what he's played at. He wants to play every game. You know, Mo, and he's probably not at the level now to do, well, sorry, I'm not saying the level, but to do it intensity-wise and do it the way he has done for so long, and to keep doing that at the age he is going to be difficult. So I'd like to think that he's going to stay in Europe and grace us with Champions League quality evenings again, where it's not probably as you know, as I don't want to sound derogatory to all the European, but they're not as physically demanding on the weekends as well, and so we'll still see them magic moments in the Champions League. So I'd like to think that he would see him in a Champions League team abroad somewhere. Yeah. I'm pleased, and I'm hoping, and I think every Liverpool fan is hoping that he's not going to go anywhere in the Premier League anyway.
Yeah, exactly. You just don't want him playing against United. You know, he's got 16 goals against United in this fixture.
It's incredible.
You'd be happy that he's not playing in it. But let's talk about who they signed for the future, right? Obviously, we know they brought in Isak and they brought in Vert. Both of them, I think. Obviously, Isak with his injuries, it was very, very unlucky. But Wirtz, he took his time to kind of break into the Premier League. But now it kind of feels like it's coming good a little bit. He's understanding it more.
Yeah. Oh my goodness! If you just look at his clips when he played in Germany before he came to Liverpool, and Cliff will tell you, it's not an easy place to come into. First of all, you come into Liverpool, big history, big pressure, Premier League. Every team that you play against wants to beat you.
Yeah.
So something's got to change. You need to give players time to adapt. But the quality, oh my goodness, the guy can play.
Yeah.
You just needed time to adapt to the Premier League. And now you've seen the assists, the goals he's scoring. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is absolutely brilliant.
And this is what you were seeing more often in Germany. Yeah. You know, and we played against him in the Europa League, and he was a fantastic, you could see. And even in the early stages, you could see he had them moments, and he was just finding his feet in the Premier League, because it is a total different league. To the Bundesliga, and as I say, I don't mean no disrespect, but playing in the Premier League when you play, and that's what these lads find really difficult when they first come over from Europe. You know, we had a couple of lads who come from Ajax who come to play for us, and they found it difficult at first, you know, because and you've got to let them find their feet. But when you come for that higher figure, when you come and you wear a number 7 shirt at Liverpool, all of a sudden the intensity and the scrutiny is nothing what he's had probably before in his whole life. Yeah. So he's dealing with all that as well as that. And I think he's handled it fantastically well. And now we're starting to see, and now we've got Isak fit, or Liverpool have got Isak fit. Now we'll probably see a connection between them two. You can see it with Ekitike, but I think you're going to see the best of them two in the next, 18 months certainly with Liverpool. So fabulous player, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the best of him in a red shirt.
Yeah. Fixture this weekend sees English football's two most successful clubs, Man United and Liverpool, go head-to-head live on Super Sunday. Ahead of the game, Mainoo signed a brand new deal at United, and today Michael Carrick has told Sky Sports' Juliet Ferrington just what a boost that is.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed working. I've known Kobe for quite some time. Come through the academy and coached him a little bit when I was here before. Obviously got to know him a lot better now, and he's just a real pleasure to work with and help develop. I think he's got a natural ability for the game. He's always had that. There's high hopes for him come through the academy that he would be able to fulfil the potential that everyone's seen in him, really. And that's one side of it. I think his attitude and the way he works day to day and looks after himself, gives himself such a good opportunity to kind of fulfil all that, and the position he's in now, how well he's been playing and improving all the time is certainly for me, it's great to see.
You said in your press conference that he epitomises what this football club is about. What was that conversation like that you had with him when you returned to Man United?
There wasn't one kind of special conversation, really. It was just...
Did you have to lift him up a little bit?
Not really, no. Not really. Just given a platform to go and perform and be himself. And I think he's growing all the time, his confidence, and you can see it. He's just finding that extra little step all the time, and it wasn't a major thing when I came in. It was just giving them that platform, and he's been fantastic since I came back.
So this game against Liverpool, what are your thoughts on it, in the sense that there has been talk in the build-up that it doesn't perhaps have that intensity that it used to do? It's got the rivalry, but the actual game itself? Has it lost it a little bit?
Not from our end, no. Not at all, no. It's one of the biggest games. It's one of the best games I was part of and fortunate enough to play in and coaching. And so, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the boys. I'm looking forward to the supporters. It means a lot to them. So it certainly hasn't lost anything from our perspective.
What were your favourite kind of moments of that fixture?
I think playing at Anfield actually against Liverpool when John O'Shea scored the winner.
It's Ronaldo fizzes one in and it's O'Shea, it's broken too, and John O'Shea has done it! In stoppage time, isn't that just the hallmark of champions? It hasn't been their best day, they've ridden their luck, but they've got the goal!
One of the best ones for me, it was my first season at United and we went on to win the league. It was a big moment for us, so that's probably the best memory of this game that I've got.
There you go. So that's the manager's view of the big game. Ready for it. I mean, Quinton, obviously, I'll come to you on this one. Let's start with Kobbie Mainoo. I mean, what's the importance of that brand new deal? Because at one point earlier on in the season, it looked like he was gone.
I think we were all shocked why he wasn't playing, first of all. Yeah. And thank God for Mike Carrick. He came in, he saw some sense and put Kobbie back in his position. But what a player! And I'm happy for him that he signed a deal. Great for the club. Just for someone of his age, that with the way he plays with so much maturity. He can play. He can be the link. Can be a 6. Look at this. I mean, great feet. Yeah. And
Ahmad has to score this.
I'm not sure why they're showing the clip, but this look. Ahmad look good, but but this is what Kobbie's got in his locker. He's got all his ability, and he can find the pass. He can even score a couple of goals as well. So great that he signed his new deal, and long may he stay at United for many years to come in for England as well. So. Fantastic player and homegrown as well.
Strength there though as well, isn't it? His awareness, because you know not many people would pass the ball there to him. They'd be greedy and try and score, but his awareness around it. But even just the start of the run to hold people off, then to sort of jink his way in and out. His feet are terrific in them little spaces. So he's a fantastic player. I really couldn't understand why Amorim didn't play him much more, especially because I thought that he could complement Fernandes because of the quality he has. So yeah, it's good to see him back to his best, and you know, hopefully, you know, he's probably one of the most in form at this moment in time.
I mean, that being said, you know, obviously being so in form, do you think he's got a big part to play potentially at the World Cup?
Well, he's got a big part to play for Man United in the next few weeks, and I'm sure if he keeps doing what he's doing, he's going to really, you know, give Thomas something to think about. If he keeps performing the way he is, I can't not see him being in the squad going to the World Cup, because he's proven to us all that he can do it at world level as well. But when he's played for England, he's been really good and, you know, done really well and complemented the midfield in there as well. So yeah, it's another headache for Thomas, and but what a nice headache to have.
Absolutely.
The interesting thing is going to be what happens to Casemiro when he leaves, because Kobbie's got a good understanding with him now, with his experience next to him. So it's very important whoever they bring in. I mean, I've got my player in mind, but that's not what we're talking about now. But Anderson from Forest.
I thought you were going to keep it.
I'm not going to go with that. I'm going to go back to Nottingham tonight.
Not that I'm saying anything. But no, I like him. I like him.
Yeah, of course.
Very good player.
Yeah, very good player.
Of course. He's got a bit of everything. He can put his foot in, Kev knows, and he can run in behind. He's got the pass, and like a bit of him.
Do you think tying Kobbie down shows how far Man United have progressed from where it was with Amorim, just from a fan perspective? I think if they'd let Kobbie go, the fans would have completely gone the other way.
I mean, when you look at the players they've let go the last couple of years, and I mean, the one that still hurts is Scott McTominay, a fantastic player, and is doing amazing at Napoli in Italy. But Manchester United have got this culture and the history of creating young homegrown players. Kobbie's one of those players, like Marcus Rashford came through. And
DNA.
Why would you want to let him go? A very important player, fantastic player. So I'm glad he's got this deal signed, and there's more to come. There's more in the academy that Fletcher's working with, and they've just got to make sure they get put in the first team at the right time. And make sure, obviously, like Kobbie.
The biggest thing what they've done is they've brought someone who understands what Manchester United is about, and they backed Ruben Amorim. We can't say they didn't, because they backed him with a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff what he did which was right, was getting a lot of people out the door who weren't and who were sort of the wrong people for Manchester United. What Michael's done, and he spoke about it and he mentioned it a couple of times there, he's given them all a platform and gone, right, clean slate with everybody, and it's up to you now to prove to us that you're a Manchester United player. You want to be here. You're with a group of winners now and a staff who've won things and seen what it's like. If you can't, and we were just talking about it with Pep, if you can't then perform, you won't be here at Man United for long. And I think that's why he's got the success.